Welcome to Set the Record. I'm Malcolm Anthony, all the way from Houston, Texas. We got Cody.
What a dude from the 713, baby.
Yo, editor-in-chief right there. Subscribe to the show wherever you're watching on YouTube or Spotify, of course, listening on Apple Podcasts, of course. Give us those 5 stars. We out here working day, night. Whenever it's time to record, we just throw down a pod. Look, follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter at Set the Record Pod. Like the Facebook page, Set the Record Podcast. Great show planned today. We're dropping some NBA knowledge left, right, and of course, going to try to put a little NFL news at the end of the show. So we'll see how it goes. Dude, James Harden is a Clipper. It's official.
Finally happened.
Words were shared. With the new team, James Harden is here. He is in LA. He has landed. PJ Tucker has played already. That's somebody who
PJ just loved the game, you know.
That's somebody.
He don't got to learn the offense. Just plug him in. He'll play defense, sit in the corner. You know, you don't got to teach him nothing.
Who's the best player on the other team? I'll guard him. Like, don't even worry about it.
Yeah. I don't care how big he is. You know, like he don't matter how much height he's giving up. He's gonna take the assignment.
That's what you love about PJ. He does actually really well on every roster he ends up floating on. So
the perfect player. He found himself on a championship team with the Bucks. You know, by doing that, right?
Exactly. That's how you got a ring. So, with that being said, what do you think of James Harden now being a Clipper? And does that improve the Clippers? Do they make a run?
I think it improves the Clippers greatly, honestly. I mean, you're adding a 10-time All-Star, a guy who's been All-NBA, someone who's coming off a 21 point per game, 11 assists, leading the league in assists.
Yep. Shooting
38% from 3 with 60% true shooting. All right. In no way does that, there's no way you don't get better by doing that, right?
Okay.
Now, the problem that you're looking at here is that James Harden is a isolation heavy guy. And then you have Paul George, who is a isolation heavy guy. And you're adding Kawhi Leonard, who is a isolation heavy guy. And then you also have the other guy, Russell Westbrook, who has the ball in his hands a lot as well. And if you look at the Clippers throughout the years, ever since they've had Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, they have always been at the top or near the top at the league in isolation possessions per game.
Oh yeah, dude.
With that, they've been successful, so they've proved that they can do it. But James Harden has also proved that he can switch it up and he can fit to adapt other two isolation guys, like the beginning of Brooklyn before, everything hit the fan.
Brooklyn happened, yeah.
And he did it with Embiid. He did it for the first half of the season last year in Philadelphia, and then it kind of all crumbled apart. Second half, he started doing more James Harden things, but he had good games still. It's not like it hurt the team because they were winning, and they had a disappointing, but it's decent playoff run.
Yeah, no, that's man. It can be
now
like that.
I got a question for you here, though, right? What do you think they do with their lineup now? Because they have, have options, and I think this is going to be the most fun part, seeing what they do with their lineup and who they put where or what they run in what situations, because I think it's actually a very good versatile lineup and they have options.
Well, I think for one, you got to start James Harden.
Okay. Yeah, have to.
James starts. Russ comes off the bench.
Okay,
that's number one. Russ has to be the starter for the bench unit, and I think you end up having to pair him with Kawhi if possible. If that
you think so, yeah, because you think Russell Westbrook's game translates better, not necessarily just because he's off the bench, but because he's running his own unit, right?
Because he's better to run a unit, and maybe not with him and Kawhi. I guess him and Paul George had his best year.
They've done it, right? Yeah.
They've done it before, so that might work better in a second unit kind of thing. Even though George will start, Kawhi would start. Obviously, you keep the big dude Zubac in there. I don't have a great who's gonna be their other.
I mean, it's gonna be Kawhi, right? It's gonna be. They have. Oh, you mean they're starting 4 if Russ comes off the bench?
Yeah,
probably PJ Tucker.
Yeah, I was like, Tucker has to be the 4, and that's kind of crazy.
That's kind of what he does, though.
They're gonna.
He's been the 4.
Yeah, I've heard they're gonna. Well, yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, but
ever since Houston, he's been the 4.
Well, no, I get it, but like for the Clippers, it's just it's wild.
I think it's weird.
Plumlee there still. That's really.
Plumlee is a center. They can't run Zubac and Plumlee. Plumlee's the backup center.
No, I 100% agree. And Zubac, he can play. He's pretty decent out there. But yeah, Russ has to go to the bench. Trey Mann, Russell Westbrook, and then you can
Bones Highland.
Yeah, Bones, and you can split minutes with Paul George in that kind of way. Help the offense a little bit as well.
Okay. What I find it fun that they can do small ball again.
Yeah. Oh, you saw Kawhi.
Think of the lineup, right? You have first off, if James Harden and Russell Westbrook start together, all right, I think Russell Westbrook slides to the 2, and James Harden is a full-time point guard.
Wow.
Just because I think he's better at it because he's been doing it more.
Those two together again?
Again, right. I mean, it's bound to happen. They're gonna end up sharing minutes at some point in the season, in the playoffs and everything. It's gonna happen.
What happened in Houston?
Russ got COVID. See, I'm back to defending Russell Westbrook because him and James Harden are on the same team.
Player.
But no, what happened in Houston? Russell Westbrook kind of in the playoffs.
Okay.
But no, the small ball had potential in Houston. It could have worked. Robert Covington played that role amazingly in Houston. That's probably his best year since Philly, right?
You think they've grown up enough to make this work?
I think they can do. Yeah, I mean, I think now they realize the situation where they're in, where these guys are 33, 34, 35 years old, and they know that this is their last chance. Same with the Clippers organization as a whole. This is their last chance.
Yeah, this was
so they're going to make the decision. I think that running James Harden as the 1 is a better option just because we've seen him facilitate these teams that have stars on there, like he did in Brooklyn.
Yeah,
like he did, and he just came off, a season where he led the league in assists. But I can also see Russell Westbrook coming off the bench. But now imagine the lineup of James Harden, Russ, Paul George, Kawhi, and then PJ Tucker at the 5.
Oh my God,
or Terrence Mann, if anything, and Kawhi at the 5.
Absolutely,
for like the extra score.
Yeah,
the small ball goes crazy. The switchability, if you can get James Harden and Russell Westbrook to lock in defensively, which they've shown they can do, and they can be solid defenders when they lock in.
They can.
If you can get those guys to lock in, and full on play small ball, like when James Harden and Russell Westbrook locked in Houston, they were pretty solid defenders in the small ball unit. They weren't. You couldn't really pick at them team stride, right? But the success wasn't, the same.
That they were scoring like monsters.
And they were scoring. Yeah, they can get on the other end. They can go
run, keep up,
push the pace. Exactly. They force your other team center off the floor. And one of the Clippers' best moments was when they had that small ball lineup and they had Terrence Mann matching up with Gobert.
That's that Antony offense, right?
Mm-hmm. That Mike D'Antoni.
There's no D.
7 seconds. Yeah, it's no mid ranges, no 3-point. All right, no mid ranges, nothing. Just 3-pointers and dunks.
Yeah, no defense.
But that was more Daryl Morey offense. I think he's the one that implemented that into Houston.
Yeah, well, even with
Tony was 7 seconds or less.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he met James Harden, and he said, "No, you dribble down the entire shot clock and shoot it." But see, I don't think this is under a new coach.
Yeah.
New system. It's not going to be the same. Now, James Harden has, said that playing in Philly wasn't the easiest thing just because he felt like he was on a leash. I don't know if you saw that quote. It came out recently.
I'm hoping to bring it up. That's awesome.
All right. Yep.
Yeah, no, he said that. And I come on, what? Like, dude, they gave you the keys to
He had disputes with Doc Rivers, I think. What it was Doc Rivers wanted to play one way. Yeah. And James was like, I want to play this way because this is the way I play and this is the way I win. And I can see it from both perspectives. But if you're putting it, think of it this way, you should be able to adjust your play for a team and not the team for one player. Yeah. Kind of like,
yeah.
And I'm going to keep bringing it back to Houston just because this is the similar scenario and I watched all of it.
Right.
Where when Russell Westbrook was brought into Houston, we changed the team to fit him. We traded away Clint Capella and anybody over 6'8".
Right. No, exactly.
Just to accommodate Russell Westbrook. And it worked up until it didn't.
Until size mattered. Yeah. No, I get it. No, and it's the same kind of concept. You can build your offense around the guys you have and kind of their tools. And that, I mean, I really having James Harden, you got to utilize his passing ability. He's got basketball IQ, and in the playoffs, his nerves I think tend to get him. So hopefully, having Kawhi and other guys.
But you remember playoff P that one year. It's just a bunch of guys that are kind of like that who, once it comes to the playoffs, they've had moments where they've performed and they've had moments where they didn't, right? Like James Harden has his moments in the playoffs where he has 40 points, and all of that. But he also has had his moments where it felt like he showed up or he just, was missing. Paul George had that whole thing in the bubble where the entire playoffs or that series against the Nuggets, he was bad. Oh, yeah. But we also saw him, I think, last season or the season before, like against the Suns, where Paul George was great. Kawhi Leonard is about the only guy that we've seen nothing but like good basketball from him in the playoffs.
Yeah, no, he's a solid.
Besides from like his Spurs years when he wasn't the offensive guy.
All about health, and really, that's what I'm saying. If James can carry this team, no matter health or not, to the playoffs, and those guys happen to be healthy when they get there, this team can be dangerous.
And that's what I like. And what I like about this team is that I think they have more depth than a team like the Suns. Whereas the Suns are like very star heavy. But once you look at that bench, like once you look at who they were putting around Kevin Durant, Eric Gordon, Josh Okogie, Drew Eubanks.
Oh man.
It's like,
man, I like Eric Gordon, but
I love Eric Gordon. He's my guy. Played in Houston. Love Eric Gordon, and Eric Gordon was great, like filling in for the guys. He's the backup point guard on that team because they have no point guard on that roster. But
yeah, like we're the PG, man. So yeah, no,
yeah, I think as long as they stay healthy, they can go far and they have a chance to win it. But I have a hard time banking in that and just believing it because we've never seen it. The Clippers, it's the same thing every year. As long as they're healthy, they can make it. Like, look at the lineup they have. Look at the stars. Oh, this is their year to win it. This is the best that they've ever looked, and they get to the playoffs. Paul George goes down. Kawhi goes down. This happens.
Same old Clippers. So with that being said, the NBA's few games in. We're about 5-6 games in, some teams. Who's impressed you the most? What team has really, man, just stood out? Just throw it out there. Go start on the east side. Who you got?
Oh, you want one each?
I want one on the
team that's impressed on both sides. I got both for you. Yeah. First team, Boston Celtics, right? I mean, 4-0, and actually the 76ers have as well. I'll say both of those teams. Currently the 1 and 2 seeds. Yep. Celtics 0 losses. Sixers have 1 loss that came to the Bucks in the opener. And I'll get to the Sixers in a little bit because I have talking points on them later. Okay. But the Celtics, just the way that they've been able to just quickly put it together, it seems like there's almost like no gelling point that they had to overcome, And that's because for the most part, their core kind of stayed intact, right? They still have the Jays. Only thing is they switched out. They have most of their roster. They just swapped out their point guard. They just upgraded their point guard. And they plugged in Porzingis.
AP and then adding Drew, man. Ooh.
And the difference between the Celtics and the Bucks is that they're in year 2 of Missoula, whereas the Bucks are struggling with the year 1 of Adrian Griffin
with a new point guard,
which is new coach.
Got it with a new point guard too. Though.
Yeah, new system, new point guard. Exactly. So it's difficult. So the way the Suns have just been, they've just been impressing me the whole time. The way they're able to just quickly boom, put it together and look like the best team. They're gonna lead the league in wins this year. They're gonna be the number 1 regular season team in the NBA.
I totally agree.
Over in the East.
West.
Or the West, I'm sorry. Good catch. A team that's actually really impressed me, and only because I had doubts on them to start the season, it sounds like it's the easy answer, but I honestly didn't believe that they were gonna like keep this up. It's the Nuggets.
Oh wow,
they are that good still.
By you saying that, yeah, okay. Wow.
Because well, listen, because we said it like before the beginning of the year podcast. I said that I think the Nuggets are gonna take a drop down. They're not gonna be as good just because of the pieces that they lost. But Jokic just showed that he just is the piece, you know. And that team is well coached too. Michael Malone has been doing a great job over there. The guys, they just have chemistry. You know, that core has been together for a while, right?
5 years, man. Seriously.
Mm-hmm. So they just know how to play team ball with each other.
Michael Porter, literally, all the injuries grew with this team. Like Jamal Murray, injuries grew with this team. Like,
and they just got stronger.
Stronger without those guys. And then with them back, dude, they're like Voltron.
And with those guys being out, I feel like it unlocks Jokic even more, because that's when he had like his best season ever, when those guys were gone. And now that you bring them back, it's just like, oh, they're stronger than ever now.
He just got somebody else to dish it to when he's
exactly
like double, triple.
So man. just how well they've been able to stay strong. They're only right now listed as the 3rd seed, but like 4-1 right now. It's just 5 games in.
100%. Yeah. No, I hear that. I hear that completely. So Boston Celtics, I agree with you on the East side of things. There's no cap in that. Boston is killing it. Boston is on fire. I hate even to admit it. The Jays, they're killing it.
The Jays are going to be the Jays.
Now, for me on the West side, I have to go with the Golden State Warriors.
That was my second team, but I was hoping you brought it up.
Yeah, Golden State, and I hear what you said about Denver. I don't disagree. The Mavericks are going to flame out. I think they've beat bad teams.
They're impressive. I was looking at that, right?
Mavericks have beat bad teams, but Luka's had to play. He's had to play a lot of basketball, and
he's had to drop 2 30-point triple doubles.
Super triple doubles to beat me. Like I said, very average basketball team. So I feel like that's got to slow down unless Kyrie picks up what he's doing. Either way, Golden State's my pick because of, one, they've beaten pretty decent teams. Obviously, a couple of those being the Kings a couple of times. But yeah. I really like what they're looking like so far. Steph is playing great basketball. Clay is looking Clay-ish. And they just got Draymond Green back. So, I think I like the addition of Chris Paul. I feel like
it's been working.
Yeah, like I think it's going well on the court. It seems like he's all right. Yeah, it's pretty good. I like this style of basketball that the Warriors play. They've always been a fun team to watch. I know you don't like to hear that, but they are so much fun to watch. So, other teams, but actually, before we get there, what couple players, who stood out so far, man? What like single
players?
Individual players with standouts? Who you got?
And this is where I said I have the Sixers later.
Uh-oh.
Tyrese Maxey.
Oh shit.
I love Tyrese Maxey, right? When before he was even drafted, I was very high on him coming out of college. The Rockets had like pick 17, 18, that year, or was it like mid-20s? We had like a mid-round pick, and I was hoping he fell to us, but then the Sixers took him. So it's like I've had my eye on him for a while. And I think that Tyrese Maxey taking the jump that he's taken is one of the reasons why the Sixers were able to just comfortably trade James Harden now.
I agree.
Because Tyrese Maxey, I have my notes on him right here because I made sure for this one.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
So his first, and okay, it's gonna be a little bit inaccurate because they just played a game and his numbers are a little bit down. But from the first 3 games of the season, Tyrese Maxey is averaging 30 points, 6 assists per game, 50% from 3, 56% from the 3-point line, 91% from the free throw.
Ooh.
Last season, he was only averaging 20 and 3. So he jumps 10 points and 3 assists. And
but
not only did Maxey jump in from assists, right? Embiid has as well. From 4 to 7 assists. He actually had 7 assists tonight, so that number's not going to change.
But if you could think that man can play a little like Jokic,
that's what I'm saying. He is implementing that. He's becoming a better playmaker, and I think this is also what led Daryl Morey to think, you know what, we'll be fine, because they're basically playing like James Harden not being there doesn't matter. Last season with James Harden there, the Sixers averaged 25 or 26 assists. I have it right here. They averaged 25 assists per game last season as a team. Mm-hmm. This season, through 3 games, not counting the 4th one yet, they're averaging 26 assists per game.
Damn. So
basically the same amount, like one more, and the number's going to drop down because I think they only had 21 assists tonight.
Yeah, but still distributing.
But like they've lost their point guard, but overall as a team, they are distributing more, and I think part of that has to do with Nick Nurse being there, right? It's a completely new system, and Tyrese Maxey is just proving that he can be that main guard.
That's an interesting thing you brought up as well, because a lot of first-time coaches, it seems kind of a lot of those teams are kind of hesitant to
first time with a new team.
No, I know, but that's what I mean though. First,
yeah. No, I was just
right
for the people at home.
Got you. But those guys have kind of been struggling. Not Nick Nurse, not the Philadelphia 76ers, not the reigning MVP. Yeah, they are playing good basketball to start the season. Absolutely.
That's been the player impressing me. Tyrese Maxey, he's taking an all-star level jump this season.
Woo! I
will not be surprised if he gets all-star votes.
Okay, I actually wouldn't be shocked by that too, because he's getting a lot more shine.
I think actually by the time results are in, you're gonna have the Tyrese Maxey snubbed conversations. If he doesn't make it.
Okay.
You're gonna have that one crowd that's saying, "Hey, this guy should have been an all-star."
Yeah, I like the sound of that. For me, I'm gonna go with the guy behind me here, and LeBron.
Cop out.
It's not.
I feel you. I know it's understandable.
21 seasons, man. It's 35 minutes a game right now.
Putting the team on his back.
Literally, like he's done his whole career. Seriously, I'm a LeBron hater, man. I've never been that guy, and he's on my team, so I have to respect it, and I always have. But now I've got to marinate it and watch it a lot more than I've ever been exposed to it. And getting to, man, he's taken over things. When at the beginning of the season, he's told AD this was his. AD said this was his, and AD hasn't taken over. And
AD, it was supposed to be AD. He shouldn't have to leave it to LeBron.
He should. Well, look, LeBron in OT against the Clippers. Just won against the Clippers the other night. 5-point win, 130-125. LeBron 50% from the 3-point line. Man, he had an excellent game, 35 points, and did everything for the Lakers to make that work, along with beating an Orlando team that had nothing to do. Should have blown Orlando out. Should have beat the Sacramento Kings. That shouldn't have happened that way.
Could have easily beat that Suns team.
Yep, I totally agree. And AD didn't show up in game 1 against Denver. So this is just, to me, impressive that LeBron, even though the Lakers aren't, all that great yet, it's a work in progress. And I'm happy to see that he can elevate his play still at 21 seasons in. I'm just impressed. As a hater, I'm impressed.
Gotta give flowers.
One thing real quick, AD is leading the Lakers in points and rebounds.
Oh, okay.
So at 20,
just doesn't feel like it.
This doesn't look like it at all. Yeah, it just doesn't look like it at all. But shout out.
Okay.
Players so far, teams so far, we'll go with that. Teams so far have not stood out. Teams
right.
Started off strong. Well, who's
teams that are subpar right now, right?
Let out the gate that you thought was going to pick up a little faster?
So there's a few teams, right? Just when you look around the league, there's a few good teams that are struggling. I'll give mine. I'll leave the other ones for you. You got a team like the Grizzlies, obviously, but the team I really want to talk about right now is the Bucks, who aren't in the gutters perhaps, but aren't picking up as fast as they usually would, or as fast as people thought they would. They're 2-2 right now. They got their first win came from the season opener against Philly, and they have some bad losses. Like they have that 17-point loss to the Hawks, and they have and the Raptors when they got smacked by the Raptors. That was yesterday. But I mean, they just haven't looked, like the team that they're projected to. And this is no need to panic because it's only 4 games into the season. But part of the reason why they're slow, what I think is their stars aren't meshing to each other well right now, and that's going to change. But it feels like apart from game 1, where Giannis just let Dame take over completely, they've been trying too hard to adapt to each other, and it's ending up hurting the team a lot more than you'd expect.
Why they're not just doing a little pick and roll and then doing their own usual flow of offense kind of stuff. I agree.
Then there's the other thing with the Bucks right now. They're in their first season, as we mentioned earlier, with a new head coach. They have Adrian Griffin, first year at the helm, running the offense and the defense, as the coach.
Right.
But and I think I said this on the pod, but losing Drew Holiday was bigger than what they expected, because when you look at their team defense right now, their defensive rating dropped by a good 9-10. They went from 110, 111-ish last season to now currently 120 on defensive rating. Big drop, especially in the NBA. And part of that reason why is because they've lost their personnel to guard it, and they're just under a new system. Like, I don't think Budenholzer was a great coach, but he did some things good on the defensive end. If you look at the Bucks last season and every season of Giannis, they led the league, or they led the league in least amount of 3-pointers attempted, and they completely eliminated shots at the rim.
Yeah, they're good. Yeah, great block team.
What they gave you was mid ranges. Yeah, and in today's game where the mid ranges lost, they were fine taking that because a lot of teams don't specialize in mid ranges. A guy like Chris Paul would be happy to do it, but are you gonna let him just if you let Chris Paul beat you on mid ranges all day, that's fine, But they don't have the defensive personnel. They don't have a point of attack defender anymore. They gave it up with Drew Holiday. You're seeing Malik Beasley take on the best perimeter guy every night, and that's just not going to work. The way they used to run their offense was, again, given the mid-ranges, heavy drop coverage, right? What they would do is, against a pick and roll, you'd have your screener, and you have the ball handler, defender, the screener. The defender fights over the screen to run the ball handler off the 3-point line. And from there, Brook Lopez is dropped. He plays heavy drop coverage.
Oh, yeah.
And they just give it the mid-range. And if they try to go to the paint, Brook Lopez is down there. Giannis comes from the side to help defense. Boom. This year, they're not doing that anymore.
Yeah, no.
This year, they're playing honest. They're having Brook Lopez step up because they don't have that defender that can run you off the 3-point line anymore. It's different. It's a new system, new personnel. They're struggling, but they can figure it out. You have 2 good players.
It's the year of the Giannis, man. I said it. Doesn't look like it so far. Definitely needs to step it up.
That's why I still think the Celtics are better. The Celtics have the defense everywhere. Everyone on that starting 5 is a good defender.
Are proving that right now. So we'll see how it plays out. So is there any players that haven't really stuck out? Any players with definite potential, should be doing better?
I get what I think I know where you're going. You talking about that man in Portland?
I'm talking about.
Well, there's 2 men in Portland right now, who are kind of like that.
Yeah, but
one had more hype, right?
A little hype to him. Yeah,
Scoot Henderson. I'll say the name.
Yeah, we thought Scoot was possibly going to be, rookie of the year. On a lot of people's.
I had him being the sleeper candidate for rookie of the year. Yep.
Had him as a sleeper, and right now he's sleeping.
He is asleep.
Still it's Portland. It's raining. He's probably asleep. So look, 8 points a game, man. What are you gonna do with that?
8 points a game. I don't even think that's the biggest concern. That it's just 8 points a game.
Well, he's average.
It's 8 points a game on 35% from the field and 9% from three.
Well, and 4 turnovers. If you got half
and 4 turnovers, 4 to 4. The assist to turnover ratio is 1-to-1 right there. 4 assists, 4 turnovers. So this just hasn't been good.
Nah, not good. Okay, what are they gonna do to fix it? What do they do? He out on Friday. What does Portland do to fix this?
Just let him rock. Let him learn. I think. So for me, I'm not faulting Scoot for coming out poorly because out of all the rookies, I'd say he is in the most difficult position. At least, because he's coming into a team that just traded away their franchise point guard, and they have him at he is the guy now. So he's coming in as a 19-year-old rookie. I think he's 19.
He's 19.
Okay, as a 19-year-old rookie running an NBA offense.
Mm-hmm.
That's a difficult thing to do. He has Anthony Simons out of the game too, so he doesn't have really any help. Anthony Simons, if they really want, they could have ran him right next to Scoot and it would have helped out, but he's going to be out for 6 weeks. Yep. So going in there, he almost looks lost out there, like he doesn't know what he's doing. And I've seen better, I know he can be better than that. So I'm not worried. No, I'm not too worried. I think that 2-3 years down the line, he's going to be very good. But his rookie season is just it's just not off to the great start, and that's just he's coming in there as a point guard, and historically we've seen this. Okay. Nobody comes into the NBA running an offense, being the main guy, and thrives immediately, right? What's the closest we've seen? Luka?
Yeah, LeBron, Luka.
Luka's generational, okay?
Yeah, LeBron, Luka, and
Luka wasn't even okay. Well, he was the guy, but he had Dirk still, old Dirk, but
maybe a Wembanyama.
He's looking good too. They just gotta find him. They gotta give him the rock.
Hey man, what do you think? How do you think Wemby's starting out so far? You like that?
That's what I said. They gotta give him the rock. I think he's shown flashes. I think he can do it. He made big plays down the first game of Spurs Suns.
Yeah,
big plays. I know they made that comeback with him on the bench, but once he was on there, he made big plays, big stops, big putbacks. I think he's doing good. The question for you that I have is, what about the Spurs as a whole? How good do you think they can be? Because right now they've shown flashes. They've shown that they can be great. I'll tell you right now, their schedule, or at least their recent wins, right? Recently, the Spurs are 2-2 right now, right? They have a win against the Suns, a loss to the Clippers, a win against the Rockets, and a loss to the Mavericks. Currently smacking the Suns at halftime right now.
Almost had the Mavericks. So
almost, yeah. Luka had to go nuclear just for them to be in there, right?
Exactly. So that's kind of what I'm getting. So right now, I think this Spurs team still finding Wembanyama, still figuring out what that looks like. I think they're going to be a fringe playing.
Fringe playing. So you got 10, 11?
Got them 10, 12. Yeah.
Around that. Okay. I can see it.
I'd be shocked if they got to 9, but man, that's them really feeding this beast right here, and him really.
And that's some other team extremely disappointing.
Yeah, and which is we can see that possibly happening. OKC's hasn't started off as great as expected. Shea's had some struggles early. Giddey hasn't really performed as expected either. But Chet's been really looking pretty fair. Honestly, he's thin, man, but he's really worked on his game, and you can tell he's polished some things up. I love Chet with the beard, man. Bearded Chet is great. Get
a little bit more respect when you have the facial hair in the NBA.
He looks super clean with it. Plus, he was wearing some fresh kicks on Sunday when at the game, watching them get just dismantled by Denver. There's a couple other teams out there, but Wembanyama, Wembanyama's gonna be something this year, man. That dude, you might be right. You might have the rookie of the year.
I mean, we just knew, right? It was gonna be him from the get-go.
We'll see how that plays out. All right. Here's the little sprinkle. You got anything else to talk about in the NBA real quick?
Shout out Brandon Miller.
All right. Shout out Brandon Miller.
He's been solid rookie year.
Yeah, so far, honestly, yeah, not as underwhelming as I anticipated, truth be told. 49ers, I'm going to drop some NFL tips on you real quick. Look.
3-game losing streak. Fraud alert.
Fraud alert. They got a no quarterback alert. The guy is just an average guy. He's an average quarterback. And if he doesn't turn the ball over when he's got all of his weapons, he's fine. But the problem is, he's having to compensate for no Debo and fumbling Christian McCaffrey at the moment. And in those times, he's making quarterback mistakes that he typically wouldn't do. He usually doesn't wait to get to his third read to throw the ball. He's a very on-timing quarterback. He knows where he's going before he says hut every time. And right now, he's making second and third reads, and that's where they're having their problem. That's why he's throwing 2-3 interceptions in these games.
All right.
Oh, but yeah,
you got it.
Chase Young. They just stole Chase.
They did. Yeah.
Third round pick.
How? Like, we're just gonna keep letting them stack their D line.
Did they owe Washington? Washington owe them something? Like something happened here. Like I know Kyle Shanahan used to be an OC or a wide receivers coach or something like that for Washington back in the day. And his father used to be the head coach there. But man, something smelled super fishy about this trade. I did not love that. So 49ers getting Chase Young. Not cool.
They just keep stacking that defense. And and it's hard to decide, like, what's scarier when you're talking about the Niners, their offense or their defense, right? And they just added another level to that defense. They got the second round pick, right? Added him. The former second round pick lined up, on the other side of Nick Bosa, former teammates. Another high, I think second round pick was Bosa as well, right?
Chase was one. Both were one, I think.
Oh, they were both ones?
Pretty sure they're both ones. First round picks. Yeah, first round.
Oh, I meant like second overall. My bad.
Right, yeah, correct.
I said second round. I meant second overall picks.
Yeah, I believe they're both twos, yes.
My fault.
No, I was just like, yeah.
Yeah.
It was ballers, and I cannot believe they're on the same line. But okay, so speaking of ballers, Miami, Tyreek or Tua, who is the Miami Dolphins MVP this season?
Mike McDaniel. No, he's very good. I mean, it's very difficult to say because, MVP is a quarterback award typically.
Right.
But Tyreek Hill is having some historic numbers for a receiver, right? And I think if Tyreek does it, if he hits that 2,000 yard record and just does what he's supposed to do, like I think Tyreek Hill wins the MVP. But I don't think that's to discredit Tua because he is putting the ball in his hands.
All right, but we gotta agree that Tua wouldn't be Tua without Tyreek. All right, so
I mean, I agree. It opened up his game. That's what I'll say.
What does KC do without a number one receiver?
They lose to the Dolphins next week. That's what they do.
Oh, in Germany? All right, we're gonna see.
Yeah.
That set the record. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. I'm Malcolm Anthony. That is
I already know.
Oh man,
rocking it.
Oh, check us out: TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. Set the record pod. Make it meditate. Make it go away.
You're.